Kenzie Johnston with Cattle News Central, bringing you your January 22nd, your Sunday evening cattle industry headlines. Brought to you by Idaho Livestock. Their American Aberdeen cattle are different by design. Aberdeens are smaller, more efficient cattle, allowing producers to feed less and run 20 to 30% more cattle, something that you cannot do with large frame 1,400 to 1,500 pound cows. This results in more calves to sell, which equates into a more profitable bottom line. It's all about pounds per acre, not pounds per animal. For efficient calving specialist bulls, check out Idaho Livestock from Hayden, Idaho and Mitchell, Nebraska. Go ahead and contact Program Manager Dean Pike at 303-810-7605 or head on over to idlivestock.com. So last week, NCBA announced a lawsuit against the EPA challenging the Biden administration's final waters of the US rule, also known as WOTUS. Farm Bureau has also jumped on this bandwagon. According to the cattle organization, the Biden administration's WOTUS definition is an attack on farmers and ranchers. The rule removes long-standing bipartisan exclusions for small and isolated water features on farms and ranches and adds to the regulatory burden cattle producers are facing under this administration. NCBA is looking forward to challenging this rule in court and ensuring cattle producers are treated fairly under the law. Also, last week, NCBA released a statement regarding the USDA's proposed rule on electronic ID for cattle moving interstate. And in case you missed it, this new proposed rule by USDA would amend U.S. animal disease traceability regulations to require RFID tags in cattle and bison shipped across state lines. So according to President-elect Todd Wilkinson from South Dakota, NCBA has remained engaged in the conversation with industry stakeholders and USDA to ensure the interests of cattle producers are represented and protected. NCBA wants to make sure any program adopted by USDA allows for maximum flexibility and privacy. The organization also believes USDA needs to minimize the costs for producers and any business disruptions in the industry. According to NCBA, foot and mouth disease outbreaks across the globe continue to result in disruptions to commerce and depopulated livestock, so the need for bold action is immediate and evident. Whatever NCBA and USDA come up with, cattle producers can be confident the finished product will protect our national livestock herd. NCBA will ensure it provides maximum producer privacy and flexibility with minimal costs, because that's what NCBA does. They represent cattle producers. NCBA's Executive Director of Government Affairs, Kent Bacchus, also weighed in on the new rule, claiming a traceability program like the one USDA is proposing is a must to protect our nation's herd from foot and mouth disease. The rule is expected to be finalized somewhere between the next year and 18 months. This update is also sponsored by Circle 5 Cow School. If you want to learn how to preg check your own cows or start AIing, Circle 5 Cow School is definitely the way to go. They're going to be hosting a school down in Mount Vernon, Texas on February 3rd and 4th. If you're in the area, be sure to check them out. And if you want to check out their schedule, head on over to circle5cowschool.com. That's the number 5 in there. Or you can go ahead and just give them a follow on Facebook. So, as you would expect, RCALF also weighed in on this new proposed RFID rule. According to Bill Bullard, CEO of RCALF, the regulatory impact analysis in support of this proposed RFID rule asserts that if restrictions on U.S. beef exports are imposed, then domestic markets can be flooded with products that were intended for foreign markets, and this increased supply will lower domestic prices and producers' profits. Also, in this report, APHIS cites the 2003 restrictions placed on U.S. beef exports following the discovery of an imported Canadian cow that ended up having mad cow disease. We can all remember that cow, the cow that stole Christmas. So the resulting restrictions on U.S. beef exports caused over $7.1 billion in losses to the beef industry, according to the agency. But according to Bullard, it was just the beef industry, not cattle producers, that sustained the $7.1 billion in losses. Specifically, it was the packers. And I'm not saying the packers didn't lose money in that situation, but that is quite a bold statement. I'm sure there's a few cattle producers out there that could weigh in on the losses they sustained with the discovery of that cow. Bullard went on to say that following the trade restrictions in 2003, financial returns to cow-calf producers increased to historical high levels for 2 years in a row. Bullard and RCALF believe the proposed RFID mandate is intended to serve the trade interests of packers by protecting them from having to pay higher prices for cattle. Drovers has reported for the week ending January 14th, cattle feeders saw average profits of $58 per head, according to the Sterling Beef Profit Tracker. During the same week, packers saw average profits of $150 per head, and during that same week last year, packers were seeing profits of $442 per head. Finally, on Friday, USDA released their cattle on feed report. Cattle on feed as of January 1st totaled 11.7 million head. That was 3% below January 1, 2022. Placements in feedlots during December totaled 1.8 million head. That was 8% below year-ago levels. Marketings during December totaled 1.74 million head, and that was 6% below 2022. That is all I have for you guys today. I have to apologize for being absent most of the week last week. This last week has been chaotic, to say the least. We got about 20 inches of snow here in central Nebraska, and that was already on top of about the 6 inches that we still had laying around. And it sure made things pretty tough, just really slow getting everything fed, getting everything taken care of. So I apologize for being gone all last week, but I will be here all this week. I hope you all had a great weekend. Have yourself a wonderful Monday. I'll catch you later.